So on this model, do you want this pointer?
Sure.
On this model, we have the nasal cartilage, which is up here, and then the nostril we would call the external nares, and then inside that cavity we have the internal nares, which are right up there, and then we have the superior concha, which is right there, and then we have the middle concha and the inferior concha, and then we have the, remind me again, is it the oral,
Where are we looking?
or the nasal pharynx,
Yep.
and then we have the oral pharynx, which is just below that. And then we have
I'm with you.
the cartilage up here is called the thyroid cartilage, and then, well, that's right here where your Adam's apple is going to be, and then below that we have the
So isn't it called
the
thyroid?
cricoid cartilage, and then we have the esophagus, which I think is not pictured on this model except for right here. So that's the esophagus. Then we have the trachea right here, and the tracheal cartilage. And then right here we would have the primary bronchus, which would be the right primary, and then we have the left primary bronchus. And then we have down here, we have the pancreas, and then we have the main pancreatic duct, and then we have the spleen right here. So if we were to put a lung on here, which is kind of hard, so I'll just have him hold it. Okay, so then we would have the superior lobe, the middle lobe, and the inferior lobe, and that would be the right one. And then if we were to look at the stomach off of this model, we have this, and at the top we would have the cardiac region, and then we have the fundus, and then we have the body and the pyloric region. And then off of that we would have, so if I were to look at the sphincters here, we'd have the cardiac sphincter, and we would have the pyloric sphincter, and then inside there we would have those little folds, which are called rugae. Then we have the lesser curvature, and then we have the greater curvature, and then of course if there was a film hanging off of that, we would have the lesser omentum and then the greater omentum. So if we're looking at the stomach, so this little valve right here would be called the ileocecal valve, and this is the cecum. And then we would have the ascending colon, and then this corner would be called the hepatic flexure, and we'd have the transverse colon, and then we'd have the splenic flexure, and then we'd have the descending colon. And then over here we would have the sigmoid, and then the rectum. And then these little bulges here are called haustra. And so then this section would be called the duodenum, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, duodenum. And then this section would be called the jejunum, and this section would be called the ileum. All right, so I believe that is it, right? I already pointed out that. All right, so there you go, guys.